Hello, 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 lovely people. I hope you were waiting for me because here I am with bells on. Okay, you know the drill. When you come in, make sure you say where you're signaling from so that I will know who's in the house this evening. Hello, hello, come on in, come on in, come on in. I've got some interesting things I'd like to share this evening. I'm not going to keep you long because I do realize that it's different time zones for different people. So I don't like to stay on long, although I do like to stay on long, but I want to be considerate. So come on in, come on in. The water's fine, as they say. Let's see here. I may have signed on just a little bit late. I hope not. I don't think so, but maybe. Okay. Good evening. Where are you signaling from? I've got a tickle in my throat because there's a lot of tree pollen, apparently. No, because it'll make my husband asked me if I wanted some licorice. I guess to help my throat. No, because it'll make my tongue black. And he'll be like, stop taking those supplements. So that's okay. I'll try to get through it. I got this frog in my throat, my eyes burn. Oh, Lord. Anyway, I am so tired. But come on in now. I see somebody on here, but I don't know who you are because you're not saying anything. So make sure you put down in the chat box where you're signaling from. And don't forget to give this video a thumbs up, please. Thank you very much. Make sure you recommend this channel to your friends. I was going to do something different with my hair this evening, but I tell you what, I was in meetings all day long and I just I was running. I was running. So I just, here it is. Sorry. I was going to show you something different, but I didn't get a chance to. And I'm sorry about that. Hey, Star, Long Island in the house. How you doing, girl? So I'm just waiting, trying to give a few more people time to get on because I think what I've got here is kind of important, and I don't want people to miss it, especially if you're going to be on. Excuse me, if you're going to be on live, I don't want you to miss what I'm going to talk about this evening. So who else is in the house? New York's in the house. Oklahoma's in the house. Don't be shy. What a day, boy! I tell you, I was busy today. Busy, busy, busy. Coughing, a little bit of sneezing here and there, rubbing my eyes. They still burn because of the tree pollen. The trees are shedding here. I don't know if you're up north, your trees are probably already bare. Ours are just starting to lose their leaves, and oh man. And I think the weeds and stuff are dropping their seeds for next spring. Yay! So it's a bit. Anyway, so this evening I was going to talk to you guys about herbal supplements and natural remedies and things like that, but also dealing with the hair. But hey, Vegas, um, I wanted to start out by updating you guys on if you remember the grapefruit and lemon tonic that I made. If you remember that, if you saw that video, just put a yes in the comment section. And if not, I'll try to remember to leave a link to that, or you can just go to the main page and on the search bar just put tonic. Hey, Philly, I'm from Philly. Philly in the house. I live in Oklahoma, but I'm from Philly. So anyway, so Well, I made that supplement. I made another batch since then. I think I made 5.5 quarts, but I wanted to do something a little bit different this time with it. Last time I made it, if you saw that video, I strained out. You missed it, really? I okay. I'll try to remember to put the link in the description box when this is finished. But anyway, the last time I made it, I strained the peelings out, and I did use it. I did use it. I woke up one day and I felt like, I don't know, I didn't feel right. I was like, yeah, I don't feel so good. And then so I took a shot of it, right, in like in a little souvenir shot glass that I had. So I took 2 shots of it, and that was early in the morning. And then around lunchtime, I took 2 more shots, and then at dinner I took 2 more shots, and then at nighttime before I went to bed I took 2 more shots. Now the last 2 shots that I took, I was kind of feeling like, ooh, my stomach feels a little bit. So when I got up the next morning, I just took 1 shot, and then whatever was trying to get me left. So I'm glad that's over with. But anyway, so I made another batch, right? After that, I made another batch. But what I decided to do, hey Georgia, what I decided to do was leave the peelings, right? So I know, right? Brave. So I took them out. I took the peelings out of this natural quinine tonic stuff, and I put it a little bit of the water that I had boiled it in or simmered it in a blender. I blended it up. I put it back in the pot, gave it a stir. I let it sit on the heat another, I don't know, 10 minutes or so. And then I put it through a micro strainer. Now, what I was trying to do was try to make it a little bit stronger. Um, so I put it through the micro strainer. So some of the peeling did get through. The very, very, very fine particles got through, but I wanted some of it to get through, right? Because the other one was just clear, not clear, but it didn't have any pulp or peeling or anything in it at all. And so I wanted to make, hey Marilyn, so I wanted to make it a little bit stronger for 2 reasons. One, so I wouldn't have to take as much, and two, because I'm experimenting and I wanted to see what it did, right? So this is my tonic for like colds and flu and all that. So I decided to try that, and what I found was, yes, you have to drink lots of water. But what I found was, now this is for me. So if you make this, make sure you put this on your bottle. Put the date, or your jar, your canning jar, whatever you put it in. Make sure you put the date that you made it, right? And put on the back what your dose should be. Now, because I supercharged it, what I did was I made sure I put on the back to take 1 tablespoon 3 times a day with food. And the reason I did that is because the first batch that I made, I was taking, I guess a shot glass is like, I don't know, a tablespoon and a half, something like that. I took 4 of those on one day and then 1 dose the next day. And I took it all on an empty stomach. I made sure I did it before I ate anything. And that was with the peeling strained out. And it irritated my stomach just a little bit, right? So now I've supercharged it by putting the peelings back in the liquid and straining only some of it out. So I thought, let me cut down the dose. So I cut it down to like 1 tablespoon, only 3 times a day with food. So if you make changes to your recipes like that, make sure that you take a piece of paper, write on it, and tape it to the back of your jar or your bottle, so that you know that anything above that, if you do it that way, or if you take it without food, it might irritate your stomach. Okay? All right. I just wanted to update you on what I did with my tonic. The other thing is, I noticed some people say because it tastes so terrible, it's bitter. Woo, Lord have mercy, it's bitter. Uh, but some doctors say the more bitter, the more better. Everything that's good for you tastes nasty. But anyhow, um, so I just want you to remember to label your stuff, and also remember that if you decide to put a sweetener with it, okay, something like honey or whatever, the honey is going to bind to it, right? It's going to bind to it because honey is thick. It will bind to it and it won't be as effective. Okay. Now honey has its own properties, its own healing properties. It's an antibacterial and all that, but it will bind to that, to the pulp and all that, so it won't be as effective. So if you don't want it to be quite as strong, you can add honey to it. The next time I make some, I will probably add some cinnamon to it because cinnamon has some good properties too. So the reason that I'm telling you all this is because the things that we eat and drink and all that do very much affect our hair as well as our overall health. Hey JB, and she says I drained off the first batch and then added more water to simmer again. It was very I know. I know. So, if you find it really, really strong, you can add some water to it or just take less of it. Take a teaspoon of it. Now, listen, I'm getting ready to get. Hey, Bahama's in the house. Hi, Amber. Amber, I forgot where you were. Anyway, uh, I'm getting ready to get adventurous, y'all. I ain't kidding. Oh my God, I just spent a ridiculous amount of money buying all these natural herbs and stuff because I'm thinking, if you hadn't noticed, stuff is missing from the store. Now, I tried to tell y'all, some of y'all, on my other channel, I said there's going to be a disruption in the food chain and all that. So get what you can get while you can actually afford to get it. Remember I said that? That was me. Okay, Arizona. Hey, Arizona. And so, oh, you did it last year. So, so I told y'all to get the stuff, get your stuff, get your stuff, get your stuff. So I got my stuff, right? I ain't finished either, but I got a lot of stuff. And I have decided, now this is me. And so everything I say tonight, let me put my disclaimer on here. I'm talking about me, okay? Don't tell your doctor, but she said, I'm talking about me, okay? So if you want to do what I'm doing, that is completely up to you. I am not a doctor. I am not a naturopath person or any of that stuff, right? I'm just me trying to get off medications, pharmaceuticals that may end up disappearing as well. So, what I'm working on are natural things to replace the synthetic things that I take right now. Okay. I would suggest that you try to do that, or you get as much supplements and things as you can, because if you've been paying attention, it's a lot of stuff going on. I mean, we got ships that are just sitting out in the ocean because they don't have the manpower to unload them, or it's crazy. Okay. Our country is turned upside down. So our supply chain is messed up. There's a lack of truckers. There's farmers. Farmland is being gobbled up by extremely wealthy people, and the farms are being bought at exorbitant prices, more than what they're worth, and the fields are being plowed under. So there is a shortage of food, and it's by design. I'm just going to go ahead and say that. So let me tell you the other thing that I'm doing. And now I got some notes here on my phone. Oh, so the other thing that I was reading about was fennel seed, Fennel, fennel seed, right? Now, funny enough, let me tell you a quick story. I remember fennel seed from when my oldest, who was closer to 50 than she's ever been in her life, was about two or three. And this was back in the day where I don't know if you guys could do this with your kids way back in the day, but this was back in the day when she was a toddler and you could call in to the hospital in Philly. This was University of Pennsylvania Hospital. And if your child was sick, you could call in and they would have someone like a nurse, a triage nurse or whatever, would get on the phone with you, get all your information, ask you a whole bunch of questions about what's going on with your baby, and then they would make a recommendation as to what you needed to do at home, right? Now, if they felt like it was real serious, they would say you need to bring them in if this happens or if that happens, right? So I called one day because my child was just screaming to high heaven. I didn't know what was wrong with her. She was very oh my goodness, I'm sorry. She was very tired and she was cranky and she was crying and she was just sick. She just seemed like she was sick. Now, she didn't have fever, but her stomach was distended, and when I touched her belly, it felt unusually firm. She was urinating, but she wasn't going to the bathroom, and I'm thinking, what is going on? So I called in and I told him, I said, she's very sleepy. She's cranky. She seems like she's in pain. And the nurse said, does she have fever? I said, she does not have a fever. And she says, do you have any fennel? I said, any what? She says, fennel seed. And I was like, I think so. Because I sort of kind of remembered it from I don't know what I remembered it from, but for some reason, I had some fennel seeds. She said, take a teaspoon of fennel seed. This is what the nurse told me for my baby that was like 2 years old. She said, break the back of it with the back of a spoon. Just crush the fennel seeds, put it in a cup of boiling water, and let it steep for 10 minutes. She said, let it cool all the way down, put it in a bottle, and try to get her to drink some of that. And I said, okay. And she says, and if you don't see an improvement in the next couple of hours, give me a call back and you may have to bring her in. And I said, okay. So you remember the little 4-ounce glass bottles, because that's what I had when I stopped breastfeeding. I was giving her this little 4-ounce glass bottle with the blue nipple on it, so I knew that was for water. And and hi Maryland, Oxon Hill, never heard of it. Anyway, hi Shelly. So I let it cool all the way down, and I gave that to her. She drank about an ounce of that, and then it was like probably 30 minutes or so, and she was still crying and crying. Oh, and she also told me take some warm compresses and put it on her belly. So I did. And she said, it sounds like she has colic. I'm like, oh, that's the accursed thing. I had heard of colic, but she had never had colic. I'm like, oh my God. So anyway, I put these warm towels on her belly. It was about 30 minutes after she drank about an ounce of that fennel water. She let out this explosive burp. And then she expelled all this gas out of her rectum, and then she passed out and went to sleep. I thought, I need to drink some of that. Man, the way my stomach feels sometimes, I might disappear if I drink that. If it did that to her, what's it going to do to me? So anyway, fennel. So I said that to say, if it worked 40, 50 years ago, it'll work now, folks. If you find your fennel is very good for digestion. It's very good for moving gas. That way you don't have to rely on Mylanta or something like that that has all these little metals and stuff in it, right? It's amazing the stuff that is right here on God's green earth that we call weeds, and we just pull it up, or we spray Roundup on it or whatever and get rid of it. You probably have medicinal stuff if you have any ground around your house, any weeds, you probably have stuff that's medicinal that you just think is a weed because that's what you've been told your whole life, and you pull it up or you spray it and then get rid of it. And I'm finding that I had geese several years back. And I don't know if anyone has ever heard of stingweeds, right? Oh my God, these weeds, you pull them up and they'll burn your fingers. They sting because they got all these little prickly things on them. Well, my geese used to go after those things. I tell you, I had three geese, Huey, Dewey, and Louie. And I, not kidding, that's what I named them. And they used to, when I got them in the backyard, they would just strip those leaves off of those stalks. Well, that was, gosh, 20 years ago, maybe. And I'm finding out now, this is too funny. I'm finding out now that it's like a natural opium. No wonder the geese were going after like they were, had I known. But anyway, so now I know how to identify that plant, and it's called wild lettuce. Look it up. I'm not kidding. I am not kidding. The stuff that we pull up and get rid of is medicinal most of the time. Do the pharmaceutical companies want you to know that? No, they don't want you to know that because they're busy getting rich off of you. So they were sure getting rich off my ignorance. So anyhow, so now I know better. So guess what? I'm going to grow some wild lettuce. In the meantime, I have some on order, and I'm going to make a tincture out of that. So, but let me get back to the fennel. Okay, so I'm gonna tell you this because I'm gonna tell you what it does for your hair. Now, so I took these notes because I didn't want to forget anything. Fennel seed can be used as a tea. You can just chew it. Now, if you've eaten at East Indian restaurants, some of them have these little dishes by their cash register. Sometimes they're on the table. Um, and you just take some when you get ready to leave after you eat. And they look little rainbow color things, right? Pink and blue and green and all these little tiny little things. And well, they're fennel seeds, but they're covered in some kind of sugar, almost like a an M&M or something, that kind of candy on it. So they give you those to chew on when you get finished your meal for digestion, right? Well, who knew? I didn't know. You go to some restaurants, they'll give you some mints or something like that. Most East Indian restaurants, a lot of them will give you fennel seed to chew on because it's good for your digestion and it is a natural oral cleanser. Who knew? Not me. So anyway, so I'm telling you guys this so you can take notes, right? And you can get some of this before it disappears if they're plowing those fields under. But it'll help with for it's good for oral health, digestion, uh, a slow thyroid, anemia. It helps regulate the heart rate, helps regulate menstrual flow. It's good for colic in babies. And the jury is seems to be there seems to be conflicting information about whether you should use it if you're lactating. So I saw some articles that said it's not recommended for pregnant or lactating women, and I saw others, excuse me, I saw others that said that is good for it because it stimulates the milk. However, I'm thinking, whatever you eat when you're breastfeeding gets into your milk, right? Um, when I was breastfeeding my kids, my first daughter, I'm thinking, what's wrong with her? She kept spitting it out. I'm thinking, what is wrong with her? And then I realized I ate something that had some garlic in it. Ooh, that didn't sit well with her. She did not like garlicky milk. So I had to express all that out until I got the garlic out of my system, drank a bunch of water trying to get rid of it before she would eat. So anyway, so I don't know about that. Do your own research and make a decision. I don't know if any of you are pregnant or lactating, but my lactation days are far gone. But anyhow, I'm just saying, don't tell nobody. So now here's the good part. Yes, like ginger that the restaurants is, yeah, it's just like ginger that they give you when you eat sushi and stuff. Yep. You can smell it too. It smells like black licorice. Now, if you can't stand the smell of black licorice, this one ain't for you. Skip it. Don't worry about it. Amber! Oh my gosh. Stop it. Oh, Amber, behave. Okay. So now, here's for the hair. Y'all still with me? You hanging in there with me? I hope I ain't boring you. Okay. Write this down. This is important, y'all. I did all this reading and stuff for you. Now, okay. So it says fennel can be used as a hair rinse. Who knew? For itchy scalp. I have the recipe. I have the recipe. You ready? Here it comes. No, you're not. Here it comes. Okay. You need 1 cup of boiling water, 1/4 cup of raw apple cider vinegar, 2 tablespoons of vegetable glycerin, and 1 tablespoon of crushed fennel seed. Now you can crush it yourself, right? Just take the back of a spoon or put it in a mortar and pestle, and crush it a little bit. It doesn't have to be into a powder, right? You just want to break the seeds open so that you can extract their properties out of it. And then when it cools down, just pour it over your scalp, right? This is if you have an itchy scalp, because it's supposed to have properties in it that'll help. I know the apple cider vinegar will take care of any kind of fungus or anything that might be on your scalp that's causing it to itch. And the fennel has healing properties in it. So it's just a suggestion. You don't have to do it, but that's the recipe that I came across. And uh, fennel, excuse me, can also be used as a tincture. Okay. Now there's an extract and there's a tincture. And the extract, now I understand that some people do not take alcohol whatsoever. Okay. This particular recipe that I'm going to give you does require alcohol. There is one that does not. And I'll try to get to that one. But this one does require alcohol. Um, is 2 ounces of organic fennel or anise seed per 2 ounces of brandy or vodka. Okay. The vodka or brandy needs to be about 100 proof. 1 tablespoon of dried lemon peel, or if you don't have dried lemon peel, you will need 2 tablespoons of fresh lemon peel. Okay. You're going to crush the seeds just like you would before. Put everything in a glass jar with a tight lid and put it in a dark place for 4 to 6 weeks, and just shake it, once a day if you remember to do that. At the end of 4 to 6 weeks, you're going to go ahead and strain the seeds out. This is a tincture, okay? And it's strong. So you're only going to use 1 teaspoon. 1 teaspoon. Okay. Don't be getting wasted talking about she made me do it. All right. 1 teaspoon or 10 drops. Did y'all hear me? 1 teaspoon. Don't be guzzling. Oh my God. Anyway, it can also be made with glycerin, right? Now, with glycerin, you're going to do the same thing, and this is vegetable glycerin, okay? So this is food grade glycerin. With glycerin, you make it the same way, except instead of using alcohol, you're going to use vegetable grade glycerin, and you're going to use 3 parts uh, glycerin and 1 part water. And the reason for that is if you've ever messed with glycerin, you know it's thick, right? It can be so thick that it won't extract the properties out of the seeds. So you can make it like that, or you can make it even a little bit thinner. It's going to take longer, so just count on that taking a good 10, 12 weeks before that's ready if you use the vegetable glycerin. And it must be kept in the refrigerator. Okay. Now with the alcohol, it does not have to be kept in the refrigerator because nothing's going to grow in that. It's sterile. But once you start adding water to stuff, you have and don't use chlorinated water. You're going to use distilled or purified water if you use the glycerin. Okay. Um, that is not for your hair. That is for you to take. Okay. Anyway, so there's that. That's fennel. That's fennel. So that's for your digestion. I'm going to be helping us as we go along with different herbal things that I find. Some of it's going to be good for the hair. Some of it maybe not so much because it might dry your hair out. But I'll try to do both, hair and body. Make sure you are drinking water. Oh my God. Listen, I ain't doing so good today. I was running. This water is still here. It's ridiculous. I will finish this, but today. I will finish it today. I wasn't trying to trick you. I am going to finish it today. All right. So let me look at the comments here real quick. Hey, Pam. I'm doing okay. Let's see. When I was little, fennel tea was made along with fever grass. I have heard of fever grass. Do I have to show ID? I got enough. That's enough. Dog. Do you have to show ID to who? Not to me. I ain't asked you for. I ain't asked you for no ID. Okay. I got one more thing I want to share with you, and that is, let's see, did I put it on here? Oh yes, I got some of this too. Black cumin seed. Okay, black cumin. Now I've heard people use this for a rinse too. After they steep it, they make a tea out of it, and then they let it cool down and they pour it through their hair. Black cumin seed is high, very high in antioxidants, and it has antibiotic properties. And it helps stabilize the blood sugar. Okay, now this is all the stuff that I've been reading about these two natural things. So thank you, Elizabeth. Um, so I'm going to get some of that because back in, I think it was 2016, I had a very, very, very mild uh, heart thing that landed me in the hospital for a week. And they wanted to make sure that my pressure stayed where my pressure was supposed to be because my pressure was at stroke level. I didn't know it. I mean, I'd never seen numbers that high like in my life. And I turned and looked at the monitor and I said, what are those numbers for? Because I'd never seen them that high. I thought it was something else. And nobody wanted to tell me that was my blood pressure because I probably would have stroked out right then and I saw those numbers and realized that was me and I was getting ready to die. But anyway, I wanted to go home. My husband said, "You can't go home. You can't go home. If you go home, you're going to die." He just told me. I was like, "Oh, well, I guess I better stay here then." But anyway, so I want to get off of the pharmaceuticals. Um, whenever you get medications from your doctor, or if they fill a prescription for you, there's supposed to be a warning thing in there telling you anytime they give you any kind of medication ever, there is supposed to be a warning in there of drug interaction. If you have diabetes, don't take this. If you have this, don't take this. It's supposed to be there. Warning labels. It's supposed to be there. They will say, if you take this medication, don't take this medication, and all that. That's supposed to be there with any and every medication that they want you to take. Now, let that hit you, okay? I'm just saying. If a doctor gives you a prescription or wants you to take a medication and they are not telling you what the risks are, you need to refuse. You need to refuse because you need to know what kind of a risk you are taking. Uh, when you, um, let me see how I can put that. You know what I'm trying to say here. You need, you need to know. See how y'all make me. Oh Lord, this is supposed to be on my other channel. Oh, anyway, I'm just saying. Okay, you remember back in the day when I used to watch TV? I don't anymore. But anyway, back in the day, all these commercials would come on and they'd say, take this medication or ask your doctor about this and ask your doctor about that. And I'm thinking to myself, when did it flip that we had to ask the doctor? They used to tell us what was good. Now we have to tell them, have you heard about this? Have you heard about that? Ask your doctor about this. And then they'll speed it up at the end because they have to, by law, tell you the risk. They have to do that. If they're not doing it, they are breaking the law and they are being allowed to break the law. Okay? They are supposed to tell you. There are certain things, drugs, sporting things, athletics, that you cannot even get insurance if you engage in some of these things. Okay? You just can't, or your insurance is going to be off the charts if anybody will insure you because of the risk. Are you following me? So if your doctor is wanting you to take a medication but cannot tell you what's in the medication, what the risks are, uh, and explain to you why is it that one size fits all. If this person has kidney disease or that person has heart disease or this person has leukemia or this person has sickle cell, how is it okay for everybody to take the same thing and with no risk? That doesn't even make good common sense, folks. Okay, pay attention. I'm just saying, pay attention. So the warnings come on the television. They talk to you about side effects and all that. If your doctor is wanting you to take medication and he does not want to give you a pamphlet explaining the side effects and the warnings, okay, you need to find another doctor because that is borderline malpractice. Okay, unless you just got a thing for playing roulette with your own life, then I would strongly suggest that you find a different doctor that will tell you the truth about all of it and then let you decide whether you want to take that risk with your life. Okay? It's your life. You got one. You got one. Don't let anybody manipulate you. So, this is why I'm getting away from pharmaceuticals because I want to be able to um, choose what do I want to take to maintain my blood pressure. Okay, it's not just about popping a pill. There's natural things I can do. There's garlic, there's black seed, there's other things that I can do, and it's going to take me time to learn these things, right? But there's still other things that I can do rather than just pop a pill or get a needle or whatever. This is a real my body, my choice situation. So I'm not going to, I want to know. I want to know what's in it. Now, back in the day, I'm thinking, all my kids, all my kids, I only got two, but they went to school and there were certain things that they had to do or they couldn't get into the school, right? They couldn't go to school. You know, that was when medicine was medicine and Dr. Frankenstein wasn't try- wasn't trying to do something with all of us experimentally. Okay, now you have to question everything. You have to question everything because doctors and companies that have stock and all this stuff don't want to tell you. They don't want to tell you that you're a guinea pig and you know they're playing the long game to see how long you last before you just expire after they've experimented with you 5, 6, 7, 8 times. I'm just saying, folks. I'm just saying. Mama didn't raise no fools. I ain't stupid. I'm not stupid. Okay. Um, I've been living long enough to have read history books. You know, back in the day when they actually had books. Some of these kids today and some of the people, the generations coming behind us, need to crack open a book before they burn them all and don't want you to know what history, what our history really is. And when I say our history, I mean our history as the human race, as far as people experimenting on other people. And look up Tuskegee Airmen experiment. Look it up. Just look it up. That's all I'm saying. Look it up. Okay. These kinds of things go on with governments, not just ours, with governments, especially in Germany, and have been going on for a very long time. And if you're unaware of it, um, well, it's to their benefit that you're unaware of it because you're non-suspecting, and you're going to fall victim to whatever it is they want to do. Yes, ma'am. Tuskegee Airmen experiment. I'll tell you briefly what they did. They infected the Tuskegee Airmen with syphilis. They did not tell them they infected them with syphilis. They just thought they were getting inoculated. Okay. They intentionally infected them with syphilis. And when they started getting sick, they did not tell them they had syphilis, nor did they treat them for syphilis because they wanted to see the full course of the disease, right? Now, to me, this is cruel and unusual treatment, um, and it goes against the Hippocratic oath to do no harm, which is what all doctors have to do. So anyway, and they were all black men. Look it up, people. I'm not lying to you. I mean, it's history. Okay, they did the same thing in Germany in World War II. They did a lot of experiments on a lot of people from a very specific race of people, ethnic group. They did a lot of experiments because on twins and all kinds of things because they wanted to see how it would affect. They would take one twin, torture the twin, and see if the other twin could feel it. I am not lying to you. This is history. You can look it up for yourself. Okay, I have no reason to lie to you. So I'm saying we got psychopaths that are running the world. They could care less about you. They could care less about you. So let me just help you with your thinking in case any of you are thinking that your government, wherever you are, has your best interests at heart. No, they don't. They do not. Because if they did, they would talk to you straight about the medicine that they want to give you now and what's in it. Okay? I am not interested in having aborted fetus cells injected into me or my children or anyone else in my family. Okay? And so, or graphene oxide or anything else that doctors and nurses are literally losing their licenses because they are blowing the whistle on this stuff. Okay? So if you want to be an experiment, knock your socks off. I guarantee you probably can't give blood. Call your local blood bank and say, if I do this, will I be able to give blood or plasma? See what they tell you. See what they tell you. Okay? If it's safe, see what they tell you. Uh, Call your insurance company and say, if I take this medication, will it void my life insurance? Just call them and ask them. Call them and ask them. See what they tell you. Okay? And then you go from there. Make your decision from there. As for me and my house, we are going to go natural. Okay? We are going to start doing natural stuff. We have already started. I'm going to be making some stuff for blood pressure. I'm going to be making stuff for pain. Um, because Motrin, I know some veterans that are trying to get disability from the government right now because when they were in, you are crazy, Amber, because when they were in the military, every time they had an ache or a pain, the government doctors were saying, take some Motrin, take some Motrin. Well, now their stomach is all messed up and they don't want to compensate them for that, you know? The sad thing is, in the military, you're considered government property. You are literally just a number. I know. I was in the military, um, there's natural things you can do. You really need to start looking into that because there is a shortage. So I'm going back to the very beginning where I started. There's a shortage, people, and it's by design. You cannot keep businesses shut, pay people to stay home. Nobody's working the fields, nobody's working the warehouses, and there not be a distribution problem. Okay. Uh, yeah. So, I mean, it's just common sense. And then when you're paying people to plow their fields under, what is that about? And you got 100 and something ships sitting on the port of Los Angeles that can't unload because you're paying people not to come to work. Why would you do that? Right? And I just have a question I want you to think about. Here's my question. Just think about it. We are supposed to be in a very dangerous time where American citizens are expected to do the right thing and take on this medication that nobody wants to tell you what's in it, right? Because everything is so dangerous that if you don't take this medication and nobody wants to tell you what's in it, then you're going to cause somebody to die. Okay, here's my question. Why do we have thousands upon thousands upon thousands of people coming through our borders right now and they're not being inoculated? They don't even know who they are. They don't even know if they have the disease. Why is that? What is why? 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 Just think, okay? Why is it that Congress, and Senate, and the United States Post Office, why is it that they're all exempt? It must be a smart disease. It'll only come after you and me, but it won't go after anybody else that's up at the top of the food chain. So you really need to stop and think. Now, if you've already done this, and you trusted your doctor who did not tell you what was in it and who did not tell you what the side effects were and who did not tell you that if you already have a blood disorder or something like that, you are susceptible to blood clots. Okay. I know people in the hospital right now. One died this morning. Okay. And they didn't die from COVID. No, it was the other stuff that they did supposedly to stop them from getting that killed them. So if you've already done this, it's almost like waiting for the shoe to drop. Seriously, you better hope you got a saline shot. You better hope that what you got was a bluff and not the real thing, because it is doing more damage than this so-called curse that came upon our land from a foreign country. And you did tell I'm being careful in how I say things. So anyway, look into doing natural things to boost your immune system, keep your hair healthy, keep your scalp healthy, so that you are not dependent upon your government wherever you live in the world to take care of you. Because I'm telling you, these people are crazy. Okay, they could care less about you. They don't think the way we think. They really don't. The whole world is one big experiment to them, and you're just another something in the petri dish. Okay, so be careful. Be very careful. If you ask specific questions of your doctor and he or she cannot or will not answer your questions, you better run. Okay, you better get away from that one, because there is no reason why a doctor cannot tell you what's in a medication that they're giving you and what it will do and what the side effects are. If they get defensive and don't want to talk to you about it, that's a problem. Okay, that is a problem. They should not even want to give you medication that could possibly harm you because you have other pre-existing conditions or whatever that will cause this stuff to explode in your system. Right? Is that common sense or is it just me? I'm just saying. So anyhow, fennel seed, black cumin, and grapefruit and lemon tonic. All right. Does anybody have any questions now that I have ranted and raved and have lost my mind? I'm trying to be good. I just can't help it. Oh my goodness. Anybody have any questions before we go? So I gave you the recipe for the rinse for your hair. I haven't tried that yet. I just found that out today. I was like, well, look at that. Yeah, that's interesting. I might give it a whirl though. I might try. But it's not for when I read it, I got the impression now this is not something that you're going to do all the time. This is like if you have an itchy scalp or your scalp is irritated, this is to help heal your scalp. That's what it's for. So, um, and like I said in the beginning, if you're going to make the grapefruit and lemon tonic, you can also do it with orange peel. If grapefruit is out of season for whatever reason, you can't find it, or didn't get harvested, or it got plowed under, or whatever the case was, and you can no longer get grapefruit, um, um, then just make it with oranges, orange and lemon peel. The other thing I wanted to say about that tonic is this: the grapefruit and lemon tonic is, if you're not going to make it shelf stable, put it in the refrigerator. And the way you make it shelf stable is you have to add citric acid to it, right? To adjust the pH so that it doesn't spoil, right? Because any fruit can spoil, and you've got water in there, right? Use distilled water. Don't use regular water. And put some citric acid in it for a quart jar, which is what I made most of mine in quart jars. Um, I forgot I had citric acid, so I used real lemon concentrated lemon juice. I don't highly recommend that. And then again, I do. I will slightly recommend it. And the reason I will slightly recommend it is because the lemon juice that's concentrated, it comes in a jar, it's all a specific pH, right? It's all made the same way. So it's a specific pH. The challenge with using fresh lemon is that there's different varieties of lemon and they don't all have the same pH. So you don't know if your tonic will survive that on the shelf. So I put 2 tablespoons of concentrated lemon juice per 1 quart of my tonic. Okay. How do I keep my hair so white? Everybody asks me that. I use Shimmer Lights for gray and blonde hair. It's by Miss Clairol. So, yep. What about our upcoming flu season? I recommend that tonic. Also, there's another thing that you can do. You can buy garlic in bulk, right? Um, Wherever you live, you may have a Costco. We have Sam's Club where I am. We don't have a Costco. And I can buy garlic in a, uh, what is it, like a 5 pound bag? It's a big bag. And I have a glass jar with a plastic screw on top. And what I do is I ferment my garlic. It'll keep like forevermore. So garlic is something that you can do if you just start taking 1 clove of garlic a day. Now this is what I would do. A day, every other day, garlic will stay in your system like 48 hours. So if you're on blood thinners, you don't want to take garlic because it does the same thing. It thins your blood, and that's how it brings your pressure down, right? So it doesn't necessarily clear your arteries, but it will thin your blood so that the blood can pass through more easily. The heart's not working as hard, and your pressure comes down. The reason that your pressure goes up is because your heart is pumping so hard. So high blood pressure means that your heart is pumping real hard trying to get the blood through. So if you take garlic or a blood thinner, that's the reason why, is to bring the pressure down. So, um, but with the garlic, what I do is I I use canning salt, not iodized salt, canning salt in a jar, a gallon jar. I pour the garlic in there with distilled water, and I put uh, like a tablespoon and a half of canning salt. Give it a shake and let it sit. It should start to bubble over time, and it's fermented. It gives off like a slightly sweet taste, the water that it sits in. Now I have some that's been sitting there for a year in this big gallon jar, and I just when I need some in my little jar, I just go out there with my dipper and take some out, put it in my small jar, and I keep that in the refrigerator. Now you don't have to, because the big jar is not in the refrigerator. It's just been sitting on the shelf out in my laundry room for over a year now. So so I would recommend taking things like that help boost the immune system, because the reason that we get attacked with viruses and flu colds and stuff like that is because something hit the immune system and it's not working like it's supposed to help keep these things at bay. So, and a lot of that has to do with the fact that our food is so contaminated anymore. Don't get me started on that. Oh, Lord. Anyway, so our food has a lot of uh, natural nutrients and stuff that are stripped out. So we're not getting everything that we need. And that's why we have to take all these stupid supplements. I don't mind the supplements as long as they're natural, right? Because it's natural. It's not a synthetic. And that's what I'm trying to do, is get away from the synthetics. So, hi Key. Thank you. So, any other questions? Did I miss a question? Let me see. I hate the smell of weed. Oh my God. Okay. Any questions before I go? Before I let you guys go? Make sure you give this a thumbs up, because I only see the number of people that's on here is not matching the number of thumbs up that I'm looking at. So, how do you get around synthetic meat? That's a good question. So, here's the thing. I know y'all thinking she done really lost her mind. Well, first of all, I've been raising chickens for 3 years. I did have an accident. Not, it wasn't an accident. It wasn't my fault. These two stray dogs from somewhere that I've never seen before literally jumped our nearly 5 foot fence and slaughtered 8 of our 11 hens. So we had to start over. We had to start over, and our new batch of hens have just started laying. So thank God for that. if we um if we have to, we'll do what we have to eat. It's good to know how to pressure can food. You can buy organic meat right now. It is very expensive. Um, so it's good to know these kinds of skills, right? To know how to preserve food and stuff like that. Um, so how you get around it is you just pay the extra money if you can to buy organic meat and use that. Learn how to pressure can food, preserve your meat, um, and put it on your shelf or in your freezer. You can get it, now if you're in an apartment, that it could be a problem. Okay, it could be a problem. You might have to do something like have a rabbit, but then when you run out of your rabbit, I don't know what you're gonna eat. So I was thinking about that too. I talked to my husband about maybe we should get some rabbits for meat. We could have uh, maybe two female rabbits and a male rabbit, and keep them separated until we need more rabbits, because you know how rabbits breed. So we probably wouldn't run out of meat. But anyway, but he'd have to do the hard part, and I'll do the cooking. But yeah, he can do the other stuff. So thank you, Amber. She says she always gives a thumb up. There's two of you on here that haven't done it yet. I'm looking at the numbers. Okay, there's one, still one. Thank you kindly. I appreciate that. Any more questions? So that answers the question about about synthetic meat. Oh my God. There's a restaurant in California that serves human meat. I ain't saying go to it. I don't even want to fly over. Okay. Yeah, no, 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 no. Anyway, but rabbits, yes. Just if you have the space, uh, try to keep them outside because they can get a little musty, is what I understand. I've never raised rabbits, but my understanding is they can get a little bit. Yes. Uh, I just eat cereal for dinner. You are so crazy. Yes, there is a restaurant in California. I think it's in Los Angeles. All things weird come out of Los Angeles, but they do serve human meat. They sure do. I couldn't believe it, but yes, they do. Um, and that's something else that some of these governments are trying to push, that we get used to eating human meat. So, yeah, uh, I think that's a hard no for me. No thanks. But anyway, so look, you're going to I was just talking to a group of people the other day, and I said, people are going to have to learn how to create a parallel society. Unless you want to be a part of the insanity that's going on right now and has been going on for a while, you're going to have to learn how to live differently. People are so attached to the systems of this world that they are literally enslaved and don't even realize that they are. Did you know that there is a proposal being pushed that if you have $600 in your bank account, that they want to know about it? They want to know every transaction that you make. They sure do. Why is that? They figure we're going to tax the rich. I did not know if you had $600, you were considered rich. But anyhow, they want to tax everybody but themselves. Okay, so because they're the rich. But anyway, just be careful. Pay attention. Pay attention. There are a lot of things that have a good name to it. It sounds like it's humanitarian and all that, but it's like the Wizard of Oz. If you pull the curtain back and see the little guy behind the curtain, um, and how he was tricking that whole little village there all that time. They thought he was this big wonder and had all these magic things he can do and all that. And all he was doing was lying to them the whole time. Okay? There's something to be said about the Wizard of Oz. So just pay attention. Take care of your health. Don't depend on your government to take care of you because they couldn't give a rip. Okay? I'm telling you. I worked for the government and I'm telling you, they don't care. They don't care. You are expendable and you need to know that. So take care of yourself. Check the stuff. Look at how much, look at what you're buying and how much it's costing you, right? And learn how to preserve your food as best that you can. And I know that everybody's situation is different, and some people are, they're in apartments, they're in very small apartments, they don't have a lot of space. Um, there's other things you can do. There's stuff that comes in buckets. There's 72-hour stuff. Then now that stuff is a little bit pricey, but to be fair, it takes a whole lot of vegetables dehydrated to feed somebody for 3 days. I mean, when you dry stuff up, it shrinks down to nothing. And if they put enough in there that can feed a family of four for 3 days, that's a lot of vegetables. Okay. So it took a whole lot to get that little bit of freeze dried stuff. So that's why a lot of that stuff is so expensive, is um, what it costs them to do. And now there's a shortage of food, and it's deliberate. Okay, so um, we are now nearly 2 years in the 15 days to slow the spread, and it's going to continue. It's going to continue. So I'm just saying, when you get tired of it, you'll do something about it. Okay, now I'm leaving. I love you guys. Let's see. Lord, Valerie. I saw that movie. That's an old movie. Listen, you guys, if you haven't seen a movie called Solvent Green, it's on, I think it's on Amazon. That's an old movie, but I saw it. Yep. You'd be surprised the things that people said to our parents and their parents as warnings that our generation is living through right now. I mean, right now. If you you if you read some of this stuff, you'd be like, "Holy moly, that's what's happening right now." And people are generations before us warned us about what we are literally living through right now. Right now, you are expected to be a prisoner in your home when everybody else can come into this country unchecked. Let that hit you. That's how much they love you. Okay? Now, I'm just saying. I ain't saying, but I'm just saying. Anyhow, Key, you never seen the movie? It's kind of corny because it's a really old movie. I think it's like from the 70s or 80s or something. But it's ooh, it's just Soylent Green. Yes, that's what it's called. Look it up. It's cheap to rent. So, but it's an eye opener to what is going on in California right now. I don't know how long that restaurant has been there, um, but I did see an advertisement about it, and I was just done. I said, you know what? They have lost their minds. I tell you, it's anyway. Yeah. So how about that? Anyway, you guys, thanks for coming on. Thank you for letting me rant and rave. And I was trying to be discreet and careful. I want to gross nobody out. But listen, when you sign on to my channel, you're going to hear the truth, like it or not. And I don't really care if you like it or not. It's my channel. So there it is. You want to hear it like it is? You just heard it like it is. Okay? Uh, Take care of yourself so that you don't have to depend on your government who does not care about you to take care of you. When they get tired of you, you are expendable. You need to understand that. And so take care of yourself. Do what you have to do to keep yourself as healthy as you possibly can. Now, I do know that some of us are at an age where there are some things that we've lost in our health that we can't get back. Okay. But you can do whatever you're able to do at this point to get yourself in a little bit better shape. If you've become mobility compromised and you can't get around like you used to, you can still take care of your insides, right? By eating sprouted seeds and stuff like that, that has these micronutrients. I can't even believe I'm saying this stuff because back in the day, girl, I was a meat and potatoes person. You wasn't going to get me to eat nothing green, acting like I was chewing on somebody's front yard. No. But now I'm like, where the greens at? So, because uh, I'm going to be in the club not dead. Okay. So, anyway, all right. So, okay. So, Amber's saying, read the comments before I go. Okay. Uh, oh, yeah. Oh, my gosh. Hold on, y'all. I'm going to scroll up a little bit. Let's see. So Amber says, I hear we are going to have to eat our foods more bland, even more less selections and choices of food coming. Yeah, yeah. And the thing is, you look at Venezuela, there are so many countries, China, Venezuela, there's a lot of countries around the world that have tried what the government is trying to do here. And it absolutely bankrupted those countries. It was so bad at one point in Venezuela till they were literally slaughtering the zoo animals to eat. That's what happens when you have one thing controlling the entire country, one party or whatever. This is what happens. This is what happens when you get people who hate the country that are running the country. Okay. who think that there's nothing good about this country and everything needs to be done over. So they literally destroy everything and they can't get it rebuilt. Look at Venezuela, right? Look at China. China has the appearance of being okay, but they got people starving to death over there. And so, you have people starving everywhere, okay? It's not just there, it's Africa, it's all kinds of countries, right? But a lot of it is government mismanagement, out of control spending, spending, print more money, print more money, print more money. Oh, we need money for this. We need money for that. We need money for this. We need money for museums. We need money for that. You got people dying on the streets, people that have served their country, veterans literally living on the street, and they want money for a museum. They want money for a foundation. Um, you have people urinating and defecating in your district, and you don't want to help clean that up. You know what happened to all the mental institutions? I remember back in the 70s, they start shutting those down. I'm telling you, it's been a slow march to tyranny. Okay. You guys, come on. Some of y'all are the same age that I am. And if you think about how things were when we were young and coming up, we have come a long way from that. Okay. So anyway, I could I could talk a while. I ain't gonna. Anyway, let's see. Stay awake. That's right, you guys. They don't go to sleep now. If people pull together, we can stop this all within a week. Yep. Yep. Okay, I'm gonna let you go because I'm 10 minutes later than what I wanted to be. But thank you so much for coming on tonight. You could have been anywhere else, but you decided to hang out with me, and I appreciate that. And I love you guys very much. I would not be telling you this if I didn't care. Um, it hurts my heart and it grieves my heart to see what is happening to my country, and to see the level of hatred. I mean, you have to truly hate a nation to do this to it, and it's a shame because there's a lot of places that these people could go that would welcome their ideas and their way of doing things, and but also at the same time, I want you to be encouraged because there is a groundswell of people around the world that are saying, we have had it. We've done everything you've asked us to do, and you just keep moving the goalposts. You just keep wanting more. You keep wanting more. You take more. You take more. You give nothing except threats. And I'm gonna take your job. I'm gonna take your kids away, or I'm gonna do it if you don't do what I want you to do. Um, Nobody owns me. I didn't sign a contract with anybody to buy me. I'm not a slave, and I ain't a punk. Okay, so that's a hard no for me. I'm going to make my own decisions. I'm going to live my life, and I'm going to keep living until I die. And I would encourage you to do the same. I will see you guys the next time I come on. Make sure you leave your comments in the comment section. Please recommend this channel and especially this video to your friends. Try to help as many people as you can to understand what is happening and how important their life is, that they need to pay attention and take responsibility for their own decisions, and don't allow a government who doesn't even know you to make decisions for your life or your family. Okay? All right. God bless you guys. Thank you so much for coming on, and I'll see you next time. Keep it natural.